Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nasty Gram RPG podcast. This is A Tangled Web, Chapter 4, The Hollow.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic.
Through a mandala of glowing violet webs, we look down on an extravagant chamber. Chairs surround the crest of House Vandry. Pearlescent tiles reflect the vibrant colors of the fairy fire. A figure crosses the floor. The camera descends through the web and follows her. Beyond the young acolyte, a distinguished matron stands on a balcony. Her long pawafui casts her silhouette as a pillar of obsidian. The acolyte drops to both knees and bows her head. Matron, you summoned me.
Join me on the balcony, Savrakeen.
The acolyte tightens, her head still bowed.
Savrakeen, join me.
We see now the matron's face in profile, her gaze locked in the distance, a soft smile on her face. Savrakeen steps in the frame and joins the matron's vigil. The mother seemingly vanishes behind the daughter.
You've made a place for yourself in the upper reaches. This is good.
You know of it? Savrakeen breaks her gaze and silently chastises herself. A foolish question.
I know your desire, my child. It is no surprise you wish to walk where great Drow once walked.
Savrakeen looks out once more across the city. The fading light of the Narbondal casts long shadows amidst the spires of Menzoberranzan.
Soon you will travel beyond my sight.
We are blinded as sunlight pours into a dust-filled cave. Savrakeen stands under the harsh rays. Drow, hidden by the debris, cough and retch.
But you will not be alone.
We see a pillar of light illuminate the floor of a dark chamber as runes begin to glow. Savrakeen's stern expression curls into a smile as the camera pans. The matron looks warmly at her daughter.
A priestess of Vandry cannot be lost to the surface, for the call of the Underdark will always lead us home.
We see Savrakeen dancing in a cathedral, moonlight refracting through stained glass. She twirls and glides as a moon would float among the stars. A distant drum beats in time.
Welcome back to the Nasty Gram RPG podcast. This is A Tangled Web, and I'm your dungeon master, Jake.
This is Josh. I'm playing Zavir Olvras, the drow sage wizard, kind of hiding under the skirts of the priestess.
Hey everyone, Dan here playing Salivar Duskrin, the drow half-breed, if you will. And we're trying to get out of a tight spot.
What's good? Matt here playing Jidin Duskrin, the arcane trickster rogue who's starting to feel like a trapped rat.
Rat would be nice. Hey, this is Devin. I'm playing the sinister shapeshifter Savrakeen.
Such alliteration.
Stuck between two lovers.
Mm-hmm. And how does everybody feel about the open gaming license?
Nope. I got something to say.
Please send your letters.
And now, 40-minute monologue from Devin. We hear these hollow screams of agony as this darkness leaks out from beyond this door.
Point of order, Jake. Devil's sight sees through magical darkness.
It does. But you don't see through this.
Gross. Hate it.
It's more than just a darkness. It's a living thing. That's what you gather by looking at it and not being able to see through it. What you see that maybe everyone else doesn't see as clearly is these tendrils of darkness that come out and wrap themselves around these two raiders, these two members of your party that were at the end of the hall. It pulls them in, and you can see them just a bit inside this darkness. Their very life force is drawn out of them. They scream, but but their screams are quickly silenced. And that darkness begins to crawl across the floor, enveloping everything as it moves down the hall towards all of you.
So this is coming from
The far end of the hall.
The wife's
Correct.
end. Okay.
Appropriate.
Did you have to put
I
it like
wasn't.
that?
I mean, I'm not saying it's her fault.
You feel like a hand grab, like your kind of shirt, Jidden, and Salivar is pulling you back towards the rest of the group on the far side, and he says, "Don't let it touch you. It eats everything alive. It pulls the life force out of it quickly." And he's like scrambling back, and he's like pulling you back with him as he starts to run to the far end.
He follows.
Zavir is at the far end, and as he sees this sweeping darkness, he kind of reflexively pulls his cloak back off of the light, the stone of light that was casting light behind this elven lord.
When you do that, you see this light shine down the hall, and then you see it stop abruptly. You're all familiar with the darkness spell. It's an innate ability known to many of your kind. But this darkness undulates as it creeps across the floor. And the light from this statue, from behind the statue, doesn't seem to hinder it. It just seems to swallow that light up and leave nothing behind it.
You see the two of us running across the room towards you. And you hear him kind of, as he's running, "Run!"
Zavir looks at Savarkeen and then pivots and runs towards the door.
All right.
And tries to find a way to open it.
It opens.
Oh. Okay. We probably should have done that.
Yep.
When the
fucking
dungeon
vampire game
master
all over
says
again.
there's a door, and we're like, I look deeper at the statue.
Okay.
I look under the statue.
We summoned the hungering darkness. Jake is very happy
It's
with
my
us.
vampire game all over again, where you guys study the outside of the house for half the adventure.
That's right. I forgot about that.
But you do summon the hungering darkness, and then you run. Yes? All right.
Yes.
There's 5 raiders left. They
5.
run as well.
You fools.
You all make your way through this door. Who's the last one?
Savarkeen.
Savarkeen, you slam the door shut behind you, this large stone door, and you all find yourself in a palely lit room. It looks almost like a bedchamber. In fact, as I said, the architecture in here is sort of elven, and everything about this room looks like a noble chamber room of a noble elven lady. There's a large 4-posted bed with sort of draperies around it. There's furniture, a dresser, a nightstand, things like that. And there's even windows. But on the other side of those windows is just natural rock.
Zavir looks at a couple of the common soldiers and says, toss everything. Find what you can.
Like search the room?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And there is also another door in this room.
Okay, let's talk about doors.
Yeah, let's mention doors first from now on.
Salivar is like slowly stepping back from the door we came through and looking at its edges to see if this darkness is creeping in around the door.
Not yet. As I said, that hallway was really long.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a few moments have passed, so nothing is happening yet. But what you witnessed was it kind of come through the wall on the other end of the hall. So you're not sure if whatever this is, if it is corporeal, if a door can stop it. But it is quickly approaching. The soldiers do toss the room pretty quickly and start sort of searching for anything. What's everyone else doing?
Salivar kind of pulls Savarkeen away from the door and puts her on the other side of him and the door.
And she looks at the door for a moment too. Then she looks over her shoulder at the other door and moves towards it.
And Salivar turns to you, brother, find a way out.
Yes. Oh, Jidden goes to the unopened door.
Okay.
Is it Locked? Unlocked?
This one's trapped.
This door is not locked, but you notice it has a very good lock. As you open it, you just notice the quality. As a rogue, you notice the quality of this lock. It is the highest quality, and it is meant to lock from the other side, so it would lock someone in this room.
Turn and look back at the bed.
Yeah.
You also give me an Arcana check. Take a +2 bonus.
Won't help much. That's 13.
There are runes around the door frame of this door. You don't know how to activate it, but you think that it has some sort of wizard lock on it. It can be locked magically.
But it is not currently.
But it is not currently.
Did I have to open the door to see that, or like just crack it?
As you open the door, you notice sort of on the interior, like door jamb, you notice all these runes.
I'll close the door and turn and look back to the party. There's something on the frame, the lock. It's not for us. It's the other side. I can't tell what it says. The runes, the magic, it's not.
Xavier runs over
Okay.
and investigates.
All right. Give me an Arcana check. What's everyone else doing?
Savarkeen is contemplating the lady's belongings. If there's a dresser there, she's walking along it. Her hand is just hovering around the edges, not touching it, but she's still detecting magic for 10 minutes. You can tell me if that's gone. And just around the counters and walking the room as the lady would.
Very cool. And Dan, what is Salivar doing?
Salivar he's slowly taking steps back, kind of guardedly moving back towards the rest of the room with his, but his focus is strictly on the door that we just came through.
Okay.
And as something, so dark, he can only imagine that it may be susceptible to light.
Mm-hmm.
So he has the incantation for light kind of dancing on his mind.
Okay. You see it first. You see it seeping through the walls themselves.
We are out of time.
How do you do?
Xavier is very cursory. He's looking back at the shadow. He's very aware of how Sai reacted to this darkness. And he's barely looking at these runes. He got 11.
All right. You're a little confused by them. They're not a regular wizard lock. There's something else going on. You're trying to figure out. Your sort of desperate thought is maybe this. If it's a magical lock, maybe it'll stop this creature. But I need to figure out the command word. So you're kind of focused on that, which is actually, you discover in a moment, the wrong direction to be thinking. Salivar says that, kind of pulls you away. Savarkeen, you're looking around the room. You're looking at this lady's belongings. Pretty, typical things that a noble woman would own. And you notice a small necklace, a locket, a silver locket. And you pop it open and you see a small picture inside of a happy-looking man and woman, an elven man, a human woman.
We were at the end of the hall with the male statue, right?
You were, yeah.
And then this is clearly like a lady's...
Yeah.
Okay.
And you pick it up. You're just kind of looking at it. And then you look back towards Xavier and the door, and you still have that detect magic going, and you notice this magic around the door. And one thing that detect magic does is it tells you a school. And you realize that those arcane runes are not a wizard lock. They're a ward against undead. They prevent undead from crossing that threshold.
This is a divine lock. Not so simple as the arcane wards we use in Menzoberranzan. She holds that locket up. She walks closer to the door.
Okay.
She sort of holds the locket aloft.
We need to move quickly.
Dan, How close to you are you? Are you the closest one to the door?
Yep.
Okay. Give me a dexterity save.
Sure. I'd love to, Jacob.
Do this to yourself.
That's a 5.
A 5.
I rolled a
that
3.
did not hit the necessary
Requirements.
DC.
DC 5?
One of those tendrils of darkness. You didn't see it moving towards you. It just kind of comes out of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And you find yourself kind of stuck to the spot.
Hate it. Okay.
Matt, what are you doing? Sorry, we're kind of an initiative right now.
Sure.
Kind of tracking this.
Do I see this darkness?
Yes.
Trap Salivar?
Yep.
I pull my rapier and try to stab at it to try to free him.
Jake, if I have Armor of Agathis on, if something hits me, it takes hit point damage. I don't know if that matters, but if this is just a grapple, I don't know.
Like
Armor
if it attacks you, what do you mean?
So I have like this sheen of like
yeah, but
frost.
I mean, like, is it against an attack? How does that work? Or is it like anything that touches you?
To an attacker. It's
An attacker? Okay. I mean, this is an attack.
Sure.
So what's it do? Damage?
Yeah,
Okay.
10 damage.
10. Just straight up 10. All right. Matt, you roll to hit the darkness.
I stab at the
And
darkness.
while you're doing
Attack the
that,
darkness.
Savarkeen and Zavir, what are you guys doing this turn?
Severe, the name of Lord Laurel's beloved. What was her name?
I like the juxtaposition between a conversation about history and us being attacked by
Violence.
darkness.
That's a miss. That's an 8.
An 8. Okay. You swing at the darkness, and I mean, it's darkness.
It's darkness, yeah.
What do you use for a weapon?
Rapier.
Rapier. Yeah, just swishes through it.
Clangs off the stone.
Mhm.
Do I know the answer to that question?
You don't. Devin, you don't think that it necessarily needs to be activated. You
Okay.
think it's just a ward. It's just a thing that is there.
She didn't know if maybe this locket was some sort of component of this ward.
I think Zavir has seen enough of Sai to know that he's just constantly like holding the rear guard to the point where it's now endangering the party. he's staying above. He's always being in a position to almost endanger us more, and almost reflexively out of his own fear, he just looks at him and he shouts, "Flee!" He's using command,
Dan, give me a whatever the save is.
and it's a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Well, not my best. 11.
12.
Okay.
All right. Dan, give me a either athletics or acrobatics.
Yeah, it's always going to be acrobatics. Okay, maybe I shouldn't use this die. That's a 7. I now desperately want to flee, but I can't.
You're trying to get loose. You're trying to run.
Yep.
But this thing has you stuck to the spot.
Okay. How does the command work, Josh? Like, how long does it last?
Just one round.
Okay.
Basically, give you a free
Yeah.
a free chance to get
like
out
it.
with that. Devin, what are you doing?
I see Silovar, the darkness sort of surrounding him.
Mm-hmm.
Savarkeen standing. She says, Zavir, get the door. We need to be ready when Silovar is free. She turns and she extends her arms, and those runes around the door, she understands that they're a ward against undead, and that I think she just feels this. And they start to glow blue, and then a blue beam just emits from them. We'll cast Moonbeam.
I'm so fucking annoyed at myself. I keep forgetting I have portents. I
Oh.
told him to flee. I could have fucking used him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could have just give him the 17?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him to flee.
Would have been sweet.
Stupid.
You're an idiot. I hate you. You suck at this game.
Devin, is there a save involved with the moonbeam?
There's a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. DC, please.
13.
Okay. And is it half if it succeeds?
Correct.
All right. Give me a damage.
If it's a shape changer, it makes the saving throw with disadvantage.
Interesting. It is not. That would be like a lycanthropy thing.
7-3
What
on a
kind-
success.
Guess a moonbeam.
73?
That's dirty.
Yeah,
I don't like
Wait,
that.
how much
like
damage?
3. That's already halved if it succeeded. 7 if it fails.
Oh, okay. I thought it did a lot more damage.
No. That's like, I think that's sunbeam.
What kind of damage is it?
This is radiant.
Don't like that. I don't like that.
Okay. It's an interesting effect. Have you ever done this before?
No, ever since that dream and then walking into that cathedral and then, she didn't find out what happened in the dream after she fell back into the Underdark, but I think she has taken some of the moon, some of that with her.
Severe, you hear a voice in your head. Sacrilege. As this beam of light hits this shadow, you hear it sort of sizzling, but then the beam is extinguished. It seems to react. It seems to almost recoil a bit. You definitely heard it, but whatever this is, it seems to just destroy light. Jidden, what are you doing?
I think he's trying to help free Silavar. He's not very strong, so he's probably not going to try to pull him. I think he's just going to try to make another swipe at it with his rapier. This time he's going to cast Booming Blade, though.
Okay.
That is a 15 to hit.
You miss. Again, your blade just goes through it. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Nat 20.
Okay.
Use that right before.
You leap back as more of this darkness seeps out of the floor and tries to envelop your legs. You see it moving up Salivar's legs in completely beginning to envelop the lower part of his body. He's just disappearing into this darkness.
We must move quick before he's gone.
Sorry, we're kind of at initiative, but like I haven't been
Jake.
keeping track. I don't know who's up.
I know that this thing is likely to be undead of some sort, or no?
You know it's not. I mean, you know it's something. Yeah, like you know it's not just you know it's not just a magical effect. It's a creature of some sort. That's
Okay.
what you know because of the way you can kind of see it.
I know because I don't know that ward is against undead. Do I?
I don't think
No.
Savrakina
okay.
said that out loud.
I think she did.
Did she?
Yeah, I think she said this ward. I don't know or she thought it. She may have vocalized it.
You said it to Zavir,
Okay.
but I don't think it was like announced.
I think in a sort of act of desperation, Silavar is going to invoke his necrotic shroud.
What's that?
It's the Asimir thing,
Okay.
where his eyes kind of go a solid black, and creatures other than allies within 10 feet must succeed on a charisma saving throw or become frightened until end of turn. But it's more like he's just trying to transform into something that this creature wouldn't hold on to. Something
Interesting.
that's, it is a necrotic effect.
Well,
Okay.
I can't help you there.
Yep.
Okay.
And then he's going to, that's a bonus action, so he'll try to break free as well.
All right. Go ahead and. that
It's
roll.
a 17.
Oh, yeah.
I
It's
use my
17.
portents, and Zavir says again to Sai, but also to all the other Drow soldiers, "Flee, you fools!"
They're glad to listen to you.
Yeah. So
Um,
I can break free?
Yes.
You have 17 for the roll.
Yep. Which
Okay.
is enough.
So 19
Which,
total.
Okay.
Whatever. you're-
Yep.
You all move through the doorway?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Matt?
Yeah.
All right. You all move through this doorway, and you see this hungering darkness envelop the room. The entire room disappears into darkness, but it stops at the doorway. All of you, all 9 of you now, are standing around this open doorway, and on the other side of it, all you see is black. But as I said, it sort of undulates. It ripples, it moves. Little tendrils kind of stick out every once in a while and try to breach that doorway, but they don't.
Jiden's focus is immediately turned to what else is in the room, other doorways, what kind of room we're in, if there's anything in here.
The door closes behind us.
Okay. Jiden, you turn and you look around this room, and it, for lack of a better term, is a dungeon. There are manticles with long dead skeletal remains hanging from them. There's a large wooden table at the end of the room, stained with blood from who knows how long ago. On the floor, you see these blood runs, like you would see in like a butcher shop or a slaughterhouse, where the blood would just pour down and into these grates. Strewn across the floor are dried, blood-stained bones.
Does it look like I don't know how much
It seems weird that I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
It seems very weird to you, like the kind of transition from this nice noble woman's room to this. But Zavir's probably first thought is, did we go through a portal?
Yeah.
But you didn't get any sort of sense of that.
Okay. Zavir's just looking for a way out.
I mean, this is more
With
our
Jiden.
speed, really.
Yeah, this is like home. Around the room, you also see a bunch of cells. You see a bunch of iron barred doors and small cells. And one of those iron barred doors isn't a cell. It seems to lead to a hallway that leads deeper into this keep.
Is it open?
It's not.
This way. This must be opened.
Savarkeen is looking in the cells. She does like a lap before she goes over to that one that door that Zavir indicates.
Let us not test the strength of these old wards. Let us make haste.
Is there anyone in these cells? Bodies?
You look in a cell and you see a skeleton, and then you see the shadow of that skeleton move across the wall. You see it sort of writhing like a man laying on the ground would writhe. And then you hear footsteps. You hear a clanking of keys on bars. You all look at that door that seems to lead to a hallway with the bars on it. You hear this clanking and you see a shadow. You hear the door open, although the door doesn't open. And then, boom, you hear it close as the shadow moves through the bars and creeps across the floor towards one of the cells.
Tyreth, kill us! Open this door! Open this hatch quickly!
They seem like they don't want to approach this clearly undead ghost figure, but it's not making any moves towards anyone. So they sort of just step around it cautiously and go to the bars. And they start pulling on them. They say, it's locked.
We don't have the key.
Watch him. He's looking at the ghost, watching what it does.
It goes to the cell that you're standing in front of.
He's the key bearer.
You move out of the way.
She politely steps aside.
You step aside and you see it reach for the bars. And it doesn't open the cell, but it makes a motion as if to open the cell, and you hear the cell open. And then you see it go in and pick up this other shadow and drag it to that table.
She watches.
You hear whimpering as it puts this other shade on the table. And then you hear tonk, a blade hit the wood again and again as the shadow reenacts the act of cutting apart this prisoner.
Salivar kind of circles the table as it happens, always watching the jailer.
You hear the blood pour off the table and a trickle across the floor.
Which we don't see. We just hear
Correct.
It's like a long fart.
Zavir kind of like shakes his head from like immediate flight mode to now trying to focus on the situation. He looks around and he looks for where the guards might have come from. If like any of these don't look like cells, if there's an area that's like a guard common area.
Looking through the bars that this thing walked through and down that hall, you definitely see an area where soldiers or guards would stay. And you think you see skeletal remains on the floor of that room.
Jidden,
Yes.
my friend.
Now I'm a friend.
As the jailer finishes his job, he leaves the table and he walks down the room, follows that carved river in the ground, that blood-stained channel to its end, and leans down where you see a grate, and you hear the sound of the grate unscrewing as he pulls something out of it.
Salivar standing over his shoulder, watching him.
I grow tired. My gifts are weak. I know I've seen you do this before. Can you reach out? Can you find something in there that can get us out?
I can try.
I've seen you use like Mage Hand, Unseen Servant before, I'm assuming.
Yep.
So I'm trying to see if there's something in that room he can reach to.
Jidden, give me a perception check.
16.
Something about the sort of leather scraps and cloth that are on one of the skeletons in that room remind you of the shape of the shade that you just watched.
Okay. Jidden reaches into one of the pouches on his waist. Yes, Brother Severe, I have a friend that can help, and he will cast Unseen Servant on the other side of the bars.
Cool.
And send it off to that table and have it search around to see if there's a key.
Okay. It starts searching. Salivar and Savarkeen, what are you two doing?
I'm watching the ghost, the apparition.
After it fishes whatever it fishes out of this drain, it moves to that doorway that you guys came out of and disappears.
I couldn't tell what it fished out of the drain.
No, you couldn't. You just see its form. You don't see anything it's like manipulating. Like you didn't see it. You could hear a cleaver as it was doing what it was doing, but you didn't like see it holding a cleaver, you know?
I look to the drain.
Okay. Looks like you can just kind of take the top off.
I pull it loose.
You pull it loose, and inside is this cylinder. It's like made to come out. You pull it out, and it's a little bit bigger than a beer can. Metal with kind of ornate carvings around the outside of it. The inside is stained red.
He kind of holds it, inspecting it.
It
Collected blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And meant to look nice.
He's regarding it, and as he sees Savarkeen walking towards him, he says, it must be a means of feeding her, feeding that hunger.
Savarkeen walks over and she extends her hand to hold the
He passes
cylinder.
the cylinder or cup to you.
She wipes away. Well, on the outside, she feels is there like the iconography or symbols or anything? She's studied for long at Arachnilith, and does this look ritualistic in any way? Is there any, again, spell components and
Roll knowledge religion. Meanwhile, Zavir and Jidden, you're watching the unseen servant rummage around in these bones, and then you hear a clank of metal, and you see it. Well, you don't see it. You see a ring of keys floating down the hallway towards you as the unseen servant carries a key ring.
Nice work, brother.
Yes, thank you. It's not all the blade I'm good with.
Very well. Open our path out of here. We're running out of allies.
What did you get?
I got a 9?
A 9. There's nothing about this that seems religious. It just seems decorative.
I'd like to keep it.
Okay. Fucked up. Like for when I drink blood.
Yes.
The door opens. A few of your soldiers make their way into the hallway first. They split both ways and go down the hall.
The door opens from the key that
Yep.
Jidden got.
Yep.
That clank kind of snaps my focus back up. He was looking down at the doorway where this chalice was taken.
Yep.
And he says, "Time to go, sister."
So your raiders kind of split up and start searching the hallway. There's several doors on this side. There's a kind of guard station on either end of this hallway, but they make their way through. You kind of have to pass the keys around a bit. But one of them shouts from one end of the hall and says, some servant quarters, some storage rooms that, while rat infested, don't have anything of use in them. And on the other end, one of them says, this looks like maybe the main hall.
A way out.
Or a way deeper.
Let us see.
Lead the way, she says to the man.
You go down a few hallways and you open this door. As he's going through this door, Xavier, you actually notice a side room that catches your interest. The doors actually have glass on them. So you can see into this room. And like the room that you were in earlier, there's this sort of glow. There's some sort of magic in here that is lighting the room. And the reason for that is because you see shelves and shelves of books.
Xavier
In a hurry until.
Yeah, that's how you get a wizard.
Mhm.
And is it locked? The door locked?
He just
No.
went from 6 to midnight.
It's not.
He looks up and down as like the party is moving forward, and he just immediately ducks in there, cast dancing lights.
You don't have to. The room is pretty well lit.
Oh, okay.
There's actually like a chandelier on the ceiling that has several permanent dancing lights on it.
He looks around and just tries to quickly take appraisal of what these tomes are.
It's not a huge room. It's maybe 10 by 15 feet. But it has a pretty high ceiling, and the bookshelves go to the ceiling. There's a couple ladders that allow you to get up to the higher areas. There's 2 desks in the center of the room, like where you could sit and read comfortably. And there's no windows in this room. This seems like an interior room to this keep, but go ahead and make an investigation roll for me. Meanwhile, the rest of you see Xavier kind of pop into this side room while one of your soldiers is opening the door to what seems to be the main hall, they said. So I don't know which direction everyone's going.
I think Salivar is standing towards the front, but kind of looking back and forth. And he sees Xavier step into the room, but everyone's kind of been going in and out of the rooms. He doesn't think much of it while the soldiers in front open the door.
Okay.
Savrikeen will move to behind Xavier.
Jidden?
I think Jidden is moving forward to look for the next doorway to
Okay.
progress on, seeing if there's any change in airflow, lights at doors, anything like that.
So we'll say Jidden and Salivar kind of go forward while Savrikeen and Xavier go into this library.
The 2 brothers.
Yeah. The Duskrins go forward.
I think he's also using his unseen servant to check doors as well.
Yep.
It's around for an hour, so.
Between your unseen servant and the 5 soldiers that are with you, you're able to kind of check all the rooms, mostly like bedrooms and storage rooms, stuff like that. Very much like, as out of place as this whole place is, it feels just like the keep of a noble. Again, occasionally in some of these bedrooms, you see those windows where on the other side of the window, you just see rough stone. You just see like what would look like natural stone. Inside that small library, Xavier, you start to look around. What did you get on that check?
24.
Whew. One thing becomes clear to you very quickly, and that is that while these are not necessarily spell books, some of them are. Some of them aren't necessarily spell books, but might have spells in them. But the subject matter of everything in this room is in some way related to undeath or to prolonging death?
Xavier, his pack lightened by the lack of rations, picks out the 3 tomes that draw his attention the most.
Okay.
Dump them into him.
Do you need more time to find what you're looking for, Xavier?
I could spend weeks here, but we must move.
The ones...
Everything in here is about undeath.
Well, not necessarily on death. A lot of it is just about not dying.
Everything in here relates to fighting off the end of life.
She has a curious look on her face.
This place, he looks, as we're in this room, the window at the end, which is just blanked by stone. This is a place out of fantasy or out of a different reality. Perhaps this keep existed somewhere, but it is not here. This is some sort of shadow, some sort of reflection of where this elven lord existed. That is what I feel. There was some place they had, and here it is recreated as unnatural. I don't know. But death has come for these people, and it is here.
Savarkeen takes in a deep breath, closes her eyes, opens her eyes again, and she is, I'm going to use another spell slot to cast Detect Magic. And she's going to look around the room. She's, for all the haste that we need, she's doing it patiently.
Okay.
Waving her hand, almost touching these surfaces. Her hand just glides along them.
Salivar puts his hand up and issues, a command, or not necessarily a command, but a warning to the rest of the drow and who are with him in drow hand code to hold position and wait until we find or until we double back.
Okay.
And he begins tracking back because they haven't proceeded with him since they went through the door.
All right.
And he also signs to you to come with him.
Jidden follows.
You guys make your way into the library. You see Xavier putting these books in his bag. Xavier, one of them you find interesting because you identify what looks like a couple spells in it. It's mainly a history of a group of wizards you're not familiar with from the surface, but among that history is some of their notes, and you think if you study it long enough, you could maybe learn a few of the few spells from it. You pointing at Faye on the map? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
I feel like it's Harper's.
Another book that catches your interest is all about vampires.
Okay.
And flipping through it quickly, you see notes, sheets of paper inside that have notes written on them. Do you speak Elven? Regular Elven?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's all in regular Elven. The book is written in Elven. And the notes are mainly concerned about whoever wrote them was trying to locate a vampire, was trying to find a vampire.
That right there is where you veered.
Xavier's like looking through these books, like excitedly, almost losing sight of what we're trying to do. Just get out.
Third one, which is probably the most valuable, although at the moment the least useful for you, because you're only level 3, is a huge tome with very detailed instructions on how to become a lich.
Wow. Casual toilet reading.
Everything in this.
So much of it is beyond your comprehension, but you know what the goal is.
Everything here relates to how a mortal deals with death and the fear of facing it.
That all may be very well, but we need to leave or we will face our own.
We must.
Salivar and Jidden are kind of standing half in, half out of the doorway to the library.
Savarkeen, with your detect magic, you find a book that looks pretty nondescript. It doesn't even have a title on the front or anything. You would overlook it normally, but it has an arcane lock on it.
She finishes her lap around the room. She sees that book. She grabs it and just puts it in her pack.
The rest of the patrol is ahead. We press on.
I could spend months here learning this.
And you have reminded us that we can die here. Come. Salavar steps back from the doorway but doesn't leave.
You all hear a shout coming from that main hall.
Salavar grimaces and then starts running.
For the first time, Xavier is the last to leave a room. As he just looks at the walls and like kind of curses under his breath as he has to step back and away.
It's pretty easy to get here. So you can just come back.
I drop a pin.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, you can fast travel here now.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'll hustle towards the yell.
You guys go through this hall and into the main sort of entrance. And as I said, this is as out of place as it is. You're in the home of a noble, and the room that you burst into is clearly the entrance hall. It's lavishly decorated. There's a huge staircase that leads up to a balcony. There's a set of oak double doors at the front of the house. At the top of that staircase is a huge painting of the Lord and Lady of the house. And standing at the top of those stairs are the four heroes. A half-elf, a dragonborn,
Let's go.
a human,
Yikes.
and a gnome. And on the steps of the stairs, rolling down the steps of the stairs, is one of your raiders. All five of them are dead.
Sick.
The half-elf, I should also mention the room is lit as well, again, by those fairy fire dancing candelabras and from above. And there are many doors, Josh. That half-elf steps forward. He looks at you, Savrikeen, and he smiles.
These are the ones you hear Salavar say kind of to our small group now.
He says, "Greetings, Dorel Lirel, at your service."
What language?
Drow.
In Drow.
Yeah.
He had a short rest.
Savrikeen smiles, looks at him, and she does this like hand code, touches her head and bows. Savrikeen Vandree. This is my menagerie.
Savrikeen. He's got that small harp in one hand, and he just kind of plucks a string, and he says, "Tell me something, Savrikeen. I've always been curious about. I've heard that some spiders eat their mates when they're done with them. Do you drow do the same? Is that something I should worry about?" Give me a wisdom saving throw,
I think
please.
that's a pickup line. Like a sexy, charmish.
I think she likes that.
Yeah.
16.
Okay. As he's talking to you, he plucks a few more strings on that harp, and you notice his voice is just so entrancing. He is trying to charm you right now with a spell,
I have advantage.
but he
first.
fails.
Okay. With my elven heritage, we have advantage against charm.
Xavier says in Elvish, surface Elvish, back to them, "I've heard those that oppress us beg on the charity of their champions."
He chuckles, and then he says something to the other three in surface common for the audience's sake. He says, he said, "We oppress him." And they all laugh.
So good.
You must be those charity cases.
Young Lorel, is it true the surface elves feed the blood to the tortured souls of their dead? And she tosses the bloody canister onto the ground at the base of the stairs.
A tragic story, isn't it? Do you know the tale of the Laurels?
I had begun to put the pieces together, but please.
Well, an elven noble falls in love with a human woman, but they know that that love will be fleeting. The humans only live for a short while. He actually looks at the older woman that is in the party with him as he says that. He says, their lives are so short. The Lord couldn't stand to think of his life without her. And so he searched the world for a way to make her immortal like him. And they found it. He made her into a vampire and thought she wouldn't change. But when the darkness takes hold of your heart, it does not let go.
Zavir mutters under his breath, casting guidance on Jidden.
Can you guys all give me perception checks?
Oh, shit.
17 for Jidden.
Do we
6 for
get
Silent
advantage from our Cloaks of Elvenkind down here?
Not on perception checks.
Oh, I thought it was perception and
If you
stealth.
hold it over your eyes,
Yeah.
I can use guidance on that, right?
yeah, whatever you want, the next roll 1d4. It's only d4.
Yeah, it's worth it.
One roll in the next minute, I think. Zavir rolled a 19, so 23.
Okay.
I'll save it.
Dan, what did you get?
A 6.
Okay, and you got a 17, Matt, and
14.
14. All right. DC was 18.
Yeah, Matt. Once fourth spell ends, target can roll d4, add the number rolled to one ability check of its choice.
Word.
I was trying to help you hide.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to save it for.
Okay. So, as he is telling this story, I just want to go around the table and see what is everyone doing. So, Devin, start with you.
Since Durrell has spoken to her, she'll respond. She'll just say, "We did not come to defile your home, young Lorel. We are simply passing through.
Okay.
I will overlook the slaughter of my men if you'll let us go."
Interesting. Matt, what are you doing?
Hiding.
Hiding. Okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check for me.
It's going to be a 19.
Okay. Dan?
He's standing kind of slightly behind Savarkeen, and in the hand behind, like that's kind of behind her, his weapon is slowly kind of appearing, forming in his right hand as he watches the rest of the group.
Okay. Read that nastygram I'm going to send you, and then tell me what you're doing
I know this.
from the perception check.
Okay. What Zavir was doing was trying to ascertain each of them as their threat and figure out who maybe had the best, which of them were their spell slingers, which of them had mastery of the arcane.
You can tell that the gnome is concentrating on a spell right now. And based on that nastygram, I think you know what that spell is.
Zavir says, that is not them. They're an illusion. They're around us.
Yikes.
You have heard that gnomes tend to be very good illusionists.
Yeah. And Zavir runs for cover. at that point.
Okay. All right. Durrell says, really, we can just go our separate ways. I mean, that thing, the hollow, that's what we call it. It's still here, you know. I appreciate you drawing it off of the stairs long enough for us to go around, but it'll find another way to get here.
And we will be long gone. Your family, whatever this tragedy is.
My great-grandfather,
I mourn for you, Durrell.
well, when his wife eventually lost control and killed him, that's when the hollow was born. I don't know what it is. Some eternal darkness. Maybe born out of grief. I don't know. But it spread across the entire land until some heroes came and killed her and banished it down here.
Jake, as he's continuing to have the conversation, and Xavier kind of whispered to us that they're illusions, Silavar is now turning his kind of guard towards the sides and not the front.
Dan, give me another perception check.
Sure.
Take +2. Your true sight.
That's a 15.
You don't see anything, but you kind of zero in on like a section of the balcony that you just, something about it doesn't seem right.
Sure. There's some ripple.
Mm-hmm.
I wait, and I begin thinking of the words to Eldritch Blast.
Where does anyone see them? As Savarkeen is still courting them, like Xavier is straight into like, we need to fight.
You see Silavar's left hand that doesn't have a sword in it start twitching, and you know it's Drow hand code, and you can pick up upper left.
You see also that the four of them, these illusions must be just a reflection of what they're actually doing. Because you can tell, as I said, that the gnome is concentrating on this illusion, and you can see that the other three are in a whispered conversation. You assume that they're debating whether or not they want to try to take Savarkeen up on the deal, and it seems like the way that debate is going is kind of just, we can't trust dark elves. We can't trust them to hold up their part of the bargain. Savarkeen, you've got a really good insight. I won't even make you roll. They don't necessarily seem like they're all, we need justice. Like, they're pretty pragmatic. Yeah. And they're kind of just like, they're in this conversation of like, do we just try to go, or what?
Can I address Durrell again?
Yeah.
Durrell, do you carry the weight of this grief? The grief of your ancestor?
He shakes his head no.
Do you know what it is to carry that grief? To know that in your bloodline is the blood of so many others slain so that you could be where you are?
Is there a heart in there?
I have seen the blood of my people spilled for so long. Sometimes it feels like a shadow fighting to escape.
Josh?
Xavier casts Fairy Fire in the area that Sai pointed out to me.
Okay.
Each object in a 20-foot cube is outlined in blue. And a creature in the area is outlined in light if it fails a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. What's the DC?
13.
You see the outline of a 7-foot tall dragon born. He's standing very still. But you can clearly tell that he is there.
I think as soon as Jidin sees that there's like that Silavar motion that way and Xavier sent Fairy Fire that way, I think he's going to send his unseen servant to try to get up there as well, just to try to like cause a distraction amongst them.
Savarkeen, since you're looking right at Durrell as this happens, give me a perception check. No, perception. Yeah,
I got a 1.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got a 1. Okay. What you didn't notice is that he glances to the side towards the dragonkin. But
Nice.
if you had noticed it, then it would give you an idea of where he's standing. What was the last thing that you said to him? Sorry.
I tried to empathize with him that
Right.
I've seen,
Yes.
my people slain and the actions of some in Menzoberranzan. I understand how you would feel.
They buried the entire keep deep beneath the earth. But I'm sure you already figured that out. But the front doors, he points, they'll lead to your home eventually. What do you guys do?
Xavier casts Ice Knife at the
Ice
dragon.
knife.
At the dragon
Okay.
kin.
Xavier, decides the direction of this.
I mean, I thought we were going that way.
We were leaning that way.
You'll get snake whipped later. Don't worry.
But in the bedroom.
All right.
They're ready for a fight.
Sure,
So
of
you're-
course.
You're going to roll initiative. You're not
Yep.
gonna just
Yep.
cast dice.
Yep.
Okay, everyone roll initiative.
Hey.
11 for Savrikeen.
19 for Saddlebar.
19.
6.
And Xavier?
14. He had no way of knowing I was going to do anything.
You know what? I'd rather we strike first, anyways.
Yeah. That's the drow way.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, I figured I wasn't doing anything out of kind.
Salvar, you're watching Xavier, so you know what he's about to do, and you can act first.
I
Well, I mean, you see him begin to cast the spell.
Yep. I beat him to the punch because I'm using a cantrip, and I use Eldritch Blast on the dragon.
Okay.
Born.
All right. He is fairy fired, but he is also invisible, so I'm guessing it's just a straight roll at this point.
I don't know. I think you have advantage.
But you have disadvantage because you can't see him.
No, I think
He's outlined, right?
But you can't see him.
Oh,
Creatures in Fairy Fire do not benefit from being invisible.
Okay.
Do you have
Yeah.
the spell text,
I
Josh?
believe you.
yeah.
All right.
any attack roll against an affected creature or object has advantage if the attacker can see it, and the affected creature or object cannot benefit from being invisible.
All right. I'll give it to you. You guys are going to need all the help you can get.
Yep.
Fuck that dragon bitch.
19.
19.
Yep.
You miss.
Woof.
Oh, I don't like that.
You actually.
Alrighty then.
I'm sorry. You hit. What do you? It's Eldritch Blast.
Yep.
It hits him, but it just seems to bounce off of.
He
is
absorbs it.
very heavily armored, and
Okay.
under that he has natural armor as well.
Got it. Well, I don't have any spells left, so I've got my cantrip, but that's it.
I used a lot of them on Featherfall.
Yep. I used a lot of them to get down as well.
Sweet.
Zavrikeen. Yeah, right. You were next, I think.
Xavier at 14.
Xavier.
I
Sorry.
got 11. I have 11.
Okay, yeah, Xavier's next.
Xavier throws an ice knife. So he starts this incantation. He's just thinking Savrikeen is doing this to kind of draw the situation out, give them an advantage to strike. So in his mind, he's following up on his previous
Sure.
intent.
She's weaving a web.
Oh, powerful.
And dunks it.
3 and a 4.
Roll. Oh, yeah, that's a miss.
On a miss, the shard explodes. The target and the creature within 5 feet of it must succeed on dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 cold damage.
Okay.
So I
Nice.
don't do the primary damage, but everyone within the target in 5 feet,
Dex.
13.
It's a cool spell.
The Dragonborn Tybor fails that save.
All right. Takes 6 damage.
Okay. It shatters off the wall, and you see it. The cold frost spread across one of his arms.
Not a first level spells.
Savrikeen.
Savrikeen points her scepter and fires a little bolt, a little bloody or a little bony dart, and it hits the Dragonborn and explodes into web. We use another charge.
Awesome. What's the save?
It's going to be at the start of his turn,
Okay.
but it is a dex. And
Okay.
then from the Dragonborn's point of view, the camera just snaps there and see the web all around him. And then through the strands of this web sees climbing onto the stairs this giant spider.
Nice. So you're climbing up to the Dragonborn?
Yeah, I'm going to stay out of its reach for
Makes
now.
sense. So it's their turn now before Gideon. Gideon, what? Jidden. It's because of the spell. It's because of spelling.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with the Dragonborn with Tybor. He fails that dexterity save. He appears as he starts to try to move. He's still surrounded in fairy fire, but you can see him now. And he tries to move, but he's caught in these webs. He can try to get out of them as an action?
On a failed save, the creature is restrained as long as it remains in the web or until it breaks free.
Okay.
There are a couple different ways it can break free.
All right.
It can use a strength check,
Okay.
or
What's the DC?
it can attack. Probably the DC of the spell, 13.
Okay. I mean, it slows him down because it takes up a round, but he tries to move through the webs and he gets caught and he just powers through it. And he rushes right to you. So he uses his action to break out of the web and then he moves into melee with you. As he rips through the webs and gets to you, he pulls a maul off of his back, this huge two-handed hammer.
Not good. That's the one that hurts.
4 of the spider legs go up as it like the spider just like makes itself big in front of him.
Next to him, Gillian, the illusionist, appears as well.
Okay, that's the guy.
The gnome. The gnome is stuck in the web, quite stuck. But instead of trying to break free, he just casts a spell on Xavier. Xavier, can you give me a
Cool.
wisdom saving throw, please?
Ooh.
20.
20. All right, you take half damage.
I hate that.
Wow.
You take 5 psychic damage
Well,
as you hear dissonant whispers in your mind.
Is to a drow? Isn't that like a lullaby? Like we.
This isn't quite the spell because it doesn't make you flee. I didn't make them like player characters. I just gave them a bunch of cool abilities, the appropriate amount of hit points and whatnot.
Well, I have 14 hit points, so
Yeah.
I'm down to 9.
Yeah,
Oh.
I rolled max damage, and then
Good. 10 would have been a punch.
yeah. And so he does that, and he tries to sort of wriggle out of these webs, but he's caught. He's not moving anywhere.
Fucking up this gnome.
Matt, what was your hide check?
oh,
19.
yeah. Thank you.
Damn. Okay, you're fine then.
Yes.
Dan, remind me where exactly you are.
I'd been standing next to Savrikeen, and then she kind of made her move and turned into a spider, and I'd done the blast.
Uh-huh.
So I'm still kind of central at the moment.
Okay. Find you
When
up
it's my
here.
action, I will be doing something else, but
Yeah.
that's where I am.
16 armor class, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you say with not so much scorn?
From the other balcony, you see something out of the corner of your eye. You turn just in time to see that woman dive off that balcony towards you. And you kind of spin out of the way as she lands, and she lands foot first, trying to kick you as she jumps off the balcony. And then she kind of lunges forward and like with this just really powerful looking forward kick. And you kind of just back out of the way as quickly as you can. She's wearing these like blue loose fitting robes, but you can see that like her entire body is covered in tattoos.
Got it.
And she's an older woman. She's probably in her 50s.
Great. Now I'm going to have to deal with an old woman kicking my ass.
Old monk lady. Yeah, good luck. And then, I'm sorry, I'm fucking up names here. You guys all have really similar names.
Yeah, we do.
Zavrikeen. That illusion starts to walk down the steps. And as he's walking down the steps, he draws his rapier. And you know it's an illusion. But as he lunges towards you, the illusion disappears and he appears on your side. What's your armor class?
14.
Oh, you're in spider form now.
Yeah.
So you see him because you see all around you. So you see him appear as the illusion disappears and he lunges at you with that rapier.
Do I see him stab me?
I'm trying to decide. Yes, he stabs you. I was trying to decide if he holds back based on your whole conversation.
That would have been nice.
But
Gonna bite his
you're a
friend.
bunch of asshole dark elves who just slaughtered an entire village. And now you're a giant spider, which is not as sexy as a dark elf.
Nope.
So he doesn't really want to fuck you anymore.
Well,
Sorry.
I don't know. The way his charm was going, he was into it.
Yeah, he said, I mean, he talked about eating the mate. I was like, do you want to get eaten? Like, what are you trying to...
As this rapier hits you, cuts into one of your legs, you feel the steel, but you also feel a chill from this blade. You take 10 damage.
Feel the steel.
Yeah, you're pretty sure this blade has some sort of magical enchantment on it.
I don't like that.
And as he does it, he says in Drow, you could have left. That's all of them. Gideon.
Jidden.
Fuck, I'm changing what you wrote on here. I'm spelling it with
Yeah, spell it phonetically, however works for you, bud. How far away are Savrakeen and the gnome?
And the gnome is up on the balcony still. He's pretty far away. Savrakeen is climbing the balcony as a giant spider. The closest one to you is actually the bard. The other, the bard or the lady, the monk. The two of them are kind of on the ground level. So the bard and the monk are on the ground level. The gnome and the dragonborn are up on the balcony.
And the gnome is the one that attacked Savrakeen, correct?
No, that was the bard. The bard just slashed him with a rapier.
Okay. Then I will, from the darkness, release a crossbow bolt at it.
Okay.
That's going to be a 16 to hit.
Advantage if you're hidden from it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, fair. 21 to hit.
Okay. So the 16 would have missed because as you level your crossbow and take a shot, all of these illusionary copies of Savrakeen start to appear, and you kind of focus on your target, which is that bard, right?
Yeah.
And you ignore them, and you take a shot. So the illusionist used an ability to basically give you a penalty on your attack, but you hit anyway.
Sweet. That's
And
going to be
with advantage, so it's backstab.
11.
11. Okay.
Rolled low.
You hit him with a crossbow bolt, though. Solid hit, kind of in his back. You know, you were behind him, hidden. We're
Yeah, bonus action, I'll just attempt to hide
okay.
again.
Go ahead.
Oh, niet. That's only a 9.
A 9. Okay. Salivar.
Salivar pivots 1 foot back to square off with this woman and says in Drow, you should have taken her offer. And as a bonus action, he will curse the woman in front of him and then attack.
Okay.
Let's see. 22 to hit.
That'll hit.
You hexed her, right?
Yep.
Hexblade's curse.
Then you add a d6.
No, you add a...
No, you add your charisma modifier.
Oh.
So that is 6 damage.
6 damage.
Yep.
Weak.
Yep, I rolled a 2.
Okay. And what are you hitting her with? Your blade?
Yeah.
Okay.
My magic blade.
She tries to block it with a hand, and you cut her hand in the process. She steps back and prepares to attack again. Xavier?
Xavier looks up at this gnome, feeling slighted by the fact that he kind of got the jump on us with his illusion. He just focuses all his rage, uses portents for his attack roll. So 22 to hit for Witch Bolt.
Damn, that'll hit.
16 electricity damage.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay.
And it keeps arcing as he
Okay.
holds his hand out towards
Yeah.
very arc.
Cries out, but he's still stuck in that web.
He's cute.
You look down at your little gnome spine
Yeah, I think.
scepter.
Yep.
And Xavier kind of like backs up onto, like, steps up the stairs right there above us. So it kind of starts to move up the stairs, but like towards the back of him.
Okay. Congratulations, guys. You're really bad at D&D. You've done damage to all 4 of them once.
That's what we do. We're scoring
Part of the
on
win.
Yeah.
1-on-1.
We're spread out too, yeah.
No, you are. It's more epic that way. 30, 40. You could have done 50 damage to one, but
But it's way more exciting.
Yeah, but
to
I
all
you kind of all are squared
I
off.
don't
though.
like the gnome.
Yeah.
I
You don't like the gnome? Yeah. You're all squared off. And well, except Matt. Matt, you got to go square off with the Dragonborn. That way it's even.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I have 2 of them right now.
Everyone sort of has their antithesis in this fight, and that one's yours. So, Savrikeen, it's your turn. Speaking of being squared off with 2, you're like on the railing. So you're a large creature. You're kind of on both levels between the Dragonborn, being flanked by the Dragonborn and the Bard, Durrell and Tabor.
Sorry, Jake, I did 2 more damage because of the curse.
Okay, and that was to the monk.
Monk.
Right? Okay. What are you doing, Savrikeen?
Savrikeen sees the shining armor, and on the wall she sort of spins around, and then she's going to sort of down the wall and onto the floor, so that she's facing off with Durrell, just over him, and she's going to bite him.
Okay.
13 to hit.
That'll miss.
I'm going to use my inspiration.
Okay.
17 to hit.
That'll hit.
I need a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. 17 on the die.
Okay, that's a success. You're going to take half. So from the bite, you take 6 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
Nice. Take 6 points of damage. That's already halved of poison.
Okay. So 12 altogether, 6 and 6.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you bite into him and he cries out, kind of jumps backwards and levels that rapier at you. Then Tabor jumps off of the balcony and tries to land on you.
A lot of aggro.
You are a horse-sized.
He is.
A march.
He's. You all. He attacks in a reckless fashion.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So, anyone who attacks him has advantage.
We already have advantage anyways. He's still fairy fired.
True. Oh yeah. I wrote it down this way. What's your armor class?
14.
14. He hit.
Do you
I don't know how
remember?
many hit points you have. As
Do
a
you remember
spider,
that priestess
I
that
do.
we had? Mm-hmm. She was good.
I'm okay.
Kind of bossy.
I like her.
12 damage.
Okay.
Remember that
As
fighter that we
maul, that maul hits you as he jumps off of the railing.
The spider boom, shudders and then gets back to its feet.
And then, after that, he roars at you and shoulders his way underneath some of your arms. He's using an ability called Attack Me. If you attack anyone besides him, you have disadvantage.
Cool.
You taunted the spider.
Classic WoW.
So you have advantage against him. You'll
Yep.
have disadvantage against anyone else.
Cool.
Next turn.
It's a good way to entice me to bite you.
He went first. Josh, you're hitting him with that witch bolt.
Still crackling. Yeah, so he knows like it's
Oh, yeah.
continuing, like he's
Yeah.
holding it on him.
Okay.
A spellcaster would know like he's holding this.
Yep.
It's going to continue unless he
Yeah.
breaks it.
Yeah. And how do you break it? You break line of sight?
Concentration.
You just concentration.
Break my concentration.
Okay.
I don't. Maybe breaking line of sight. Let me see. Sorry. Spell ends if you use your action to do anything else. Spell also ends if the target is ever outside the spell's range or it has total cover from you. So if he moves in a total cover,
Okay. Give me a intelligence saving throw.
13.
The webs around him start to grow. They stretch and they block your view of him. And You're frustrated. You're, for a moment, angry at Savrakeen
I am
as you allow the spell to end. And then as soon as your spell ends,
illusion.
the webs go away, and he's laughing at you.
The web actually,
No, the web doesn't go away.
Yeah.
The illusionary part
Yeah.
of the web goes away.
the web goes away. It's a concentration
Okay.
spell.
Yep.
Okay.
And I failed my
Whacked.
concentration check.
So all of the webs go away. But that's all he does.
Yeah, he didn't.
Well played.
Well, the web goes away. He's kind of backed into a corner up here, so he doesn't really move. He kind of just backs up a little bit so that he can't be shot by people on the ground level with bows. But you still have line of sight to him. Well, you do again. Dan? You're being attacked.
Yep. Okay.
What's your armor class right now?
32. Half that.
Is it a 16?
Yep.
Okay. Give me a strength saving throw, please.
I'm very strong. 3.
Okay. You take 5 damage
Okay.
as she punches you.
She takes 10 damage.
She takes 10?
Yep.
Okay. Ow.
Fair trade.
As she punches you, she grabs your... Do you wear armor?
Yes.
Yeah. She grabs your
I have a
breastplate,
breastplate. Yep.
and she does this like judo move where she kind of throws herself, and in doing so, throws you as well.
Okay.
She throws you. You land right at the foot of Tabor, the Dragonborn.
Okay.
He actually looks down at you and smiles, and then he looks over his shoulder and he says, "Thanks for the snack."
I'm rolling already to try to get out from under him and
Okay.
get back to my feet.
She used an ability called Momentum.
I like it. It's like
Cool.
a trip attack.
And then the last one is Doral.
He feels a little slow.
Yeah,
Poisoned.
he's poisoned. Yeah, he is. He's pretty hurt too. But the safest place for him right now is right next to the Dragonborn.
Just for purposes, will I be prone at the start of my turn?
No, she
Okay.
just moved you.
Got it.
Yeah, you just moved you. He attacks you again. What's your armor class?
14.
14. That's low.
Giant spider. He's the size of a horse.
Minimum damage. 5. He's a little apprehensive as he swings that rapier at you. Give me a perception check.
18.
He is between you and the front doors of this keep, and he glances over his shoulder at the doors.
He sees the spider, and it's just those multifaceted eyes, those 8 eyes, and whatever light is in this room. He knows this thing is looking at him.
Jidden?
I think Jidden is going to use that moment where Doral takes his eyes off and looks over the shoulder towards the door, and he's going to move up with his rapier drawn and try to make an attack.
Against who?
Doral?
Against Doral. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have advantage on that, right? He's
no,
not
you
fairy
don't.
fired?
No.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's only a 12.
That's a miss. He parries your blade with his rapier. He's very skilled with this rapier. And but he's definitely nervous about having the 2 of you facing him now. In fact, the 3 of you, everyone except Zavir, are in this kind of scrum in the middle. So everyone except the casters is now in like the center ground floor, like in this massive melee. And Salivar, you quickly get to your feet. This Dragonborn looking down at you. I'm gonna switch up now, just because I think it'll be more
Flow
interesting.
better,
I'm gonna
yeah.
have one of them go after each of you.
Okay.
This is starting this round. So Salivar, what do you do?
Now that he's so close to the Dragonborn, he'll take a swing at it.
Okay.
As he rolls to his feet, and he's kind of gotten some distance from the older woman,
Okay.
So it's with advantage.
It is.
He puts 2 hands on the sword. Probably a miss. 16.
That's a miss.
Yep. That's rolling 2d20. Sick.
He thinks about swinging at you, but he doesn't. He swings at you again. Savrakeen. He doesn't like giant spiders. And he's reckless attacking again.
I don't blame him. They're nasty.
What's your 14, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take 10 damage.
Savrakeen tumbles to the ground.
Ooh. Like
tumbles or just tumbles?
She pops back up, but she's in her drow form now.
Is that automatic?
Yes, it's like chitinous plates that like break off as he swings this maul. You hear this crunch, and instead of like blood and ichor falling out, they just fall away, turn into like ash, and then she tumbles onto the ground and pops up.
At this point, the player character controlling Tybor would say to their dungeon master, "Are we in phase 2 of the fight?"
Everyone knows who Tybor is.
Dan?
Nope, not a clue.
Okay. He does that, and then hold on, I have to roll for that ability. Does not reset, so that's all he does. Xavier.
I'm going to take a self-imposed wisdom saving throw. DC 12.
He's fishing for inspiration.
I'm fucking going for this gnome. His ego is affected by
Is
him.
the
but
wisdom save to
if I fail it, I'm going to try to kill this gnome. If I
like
succeed, I know I can do something better.
You failed.
Okay. Take an inspiration.
Thank you. I'm casting chromatic orb at 2nd level of this fucking gnome.
Maximum ability.
He rolled a nat 20.
It's a nat 20.
Oh my god. Okay. That's a hit.
All right.
Go figure.
That's a crit, right?
So
That's a crit. That's a lot of dice.
At 2nd level, that's 8d8.
Also, good pro D&D move. Use your high damage spell on the caster who clearly has the least amount of hit points.
100%.
That's good.
He just incinerated it. Yeah.
32.
Do you want to describe that fatality? And
a
that
hole
is
right through
a
him.
fatality.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
The Sub-Zero fatality freeze him.
So Xavier looks at this scrum, sees his allies, and he looks up and he just his face just turns black as this gnome scowls down at him after casting this web obscuration, and he just grits his teeth. He lights his hands forward, and this black purple ball forms in his hand, and it just lances out and blasts into this gnome, and it lifts the gnome up and smashes him against the stone wall, and ichor just spatters out, crackling along the wall.
Dope.
Okay. Gnome is going to go next, so he's not now.
I was going to guess Bane, which would be much more helpful.
Yes, it was.
Savrakeen, what are you doing?
Savrakeen is going to... She stands up and she looks at Durrell. In her hand, there's maybe some dust that she gathers in her hand, and she throws it at the feet of herself and Durrell, and she casts Entangle. Grasping weeds and vines sprout from the ground. Just give me a strength saving throw for everyone in a 20-foot square.
DC?
13.
Who'd you cast that on?
If I can get it on Durrell and the Dragonborn.
It's
Yep.
going to be catch me as well, right?
It's going to be everyone except Josh.
fail.
Did you make it?
No.
No. Dan?
Yes.
Okay. So Salivar, Dan, and Tybor, the Dragonborn, are the only ones that made it.
Of course.
Everyone else is entangled.
But cool.
I don't know what I was doing with that. I was going to try and run. But now I'm entangled.
You love webbing.
This magic. Maybe my magic works different up here.
It's webs. It's webs.
It is.
baby.
Yeah, so that this ash sort of it's like it falls on invisible webs, and you see around the feet and around in this whole area there's webs.
Tybor went. Gillian, the illusionist, is dead.
Fucking launched an ion cannon at the least threatening person in the party.
So
He arguably probably had about as many hit points as you did.
I probably could have taken out an actual combatant.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fine. But however, 1-0.
1-0.
1-0.
Dorel attacks you again, but this time he is using his harp almost defensively. You he misses, but he did use an ability. Josh, you look down, you watch him fighting, and you remember something. You remember that name, that family, the Lyrels, that Lord Lyrel. You remember he was a blade singer. Now, you don't think this bard is a blade singer, but what he's doing right now is the training of a blade singer.
Okay.
Yeah, he learned a few things.
Gotcha.
And what he's doing is he's basically fighting defensively, except better. He takes a penalty to hit for armor class. He's pretty hurt. So yeah, he's kind of trying to fend you off very defensively.
Can I shout something out?
Mm-hmm.
Leave the elf for last.
And that's Jidden's turn.
I am stuck in these in the webbing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything within range for me to strike with my rapier?
No. Did you move into the fight?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're all in range. Everyone's in range.
Can I drop concentration on a spell whenever?
I think so.
Yeah, I think once she sees that no one else is
I
affected.
don't know. Maybe it's just your turn.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think. Well, you could be disrupted at any time, so I don't see why you
Yeah,
couldn't
use
drop
it
it.
as your reaction at least.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, she sees it didn't affect them, and I think just the webs just crumble and fall.
Matt, what did you get?
I haven't done anything yet.
Okay. So your options are Tabor, the Dragonborn, who you have advantage against, but he does have a pretty high armor class.
Yeah.
And then the Bard and the Monk.
I think he will
The
go.
Bard is the most injured. The Monk is pretty damn injured too, actually.
Yeah, I got punched by her. That's how I injured her.
Yeah.
Hearing Severe yell, "Save the elf for last," he'll go after the glowing dragonborn.
Clever move, Josh, because mechanically, don't attack him. It's basically a better way to say don't attack him right now. He's fighting defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's two natural 17, so that's a 23 to hit with the rapier.
That's a hit. Which one is this against?
The dragonborn.
The Dragonborn. Okay.
Sankyo.
He is flanked because everyone else is in this fight as well.
9 plus 4, 13 damage.
There's no flanked in 5e, is there?
No.
Well, for backstab.
Oh, right.
That's what I meant. He cries
13
out
piercing.
as that rapier finds a hole in the scales and hits actual flesh underneath. And Sigra, the monk, she rushes in towards Salivar, who she just threw into this fight, and she reaches out with an open palm and tries to hit you in the chest.
5-finger palm of death.
What's your armor class?
16.
She misses.
Love it.
Your heart does not explode.
You don't instantly die. No.
5 steps.
Yep.
Nice. That's all she does.
Okay.
That's back to you then.
Back to
Dan.
me?
Yeah.
I kind of sidestepped her and let her, put the Dragonborn between me and her again, and I take another swing at him, two-handed. Rolled a nat 20.
Okay.
The devil's dice, yeah?
Yes.
Been a minute.
Who is this at?
Nice.
I'm sorry.
The Dragonborn.
The Dragonborn. Okay.
13, 19 damage.
Ooh.
Wow.
Nice.
He staggers a bit as you hit him. And then he sort of turns and roars. Now you're both attacking him. And as his roar echoes through the hall, you hear another wailing call. You look past him, and at the top of the stairs, you see the darkness seeping through the walls. He turns, takes a step back, and breathes fire at both of you, at Salivar and Jidden.
Would have been an awesome way to get rid of the web.
Yeah.
Can you guys give me a dexterity saving throw, please?
Balls.
DC's not
Fail.
very high. What do you get?
I got a
8.
20.
You got an 8? Rogue? Do you take half damage anyway? Is that a thing?
I don't think I have that yet. Not at 3rd level.
Okay. You take 12 then, and Dan, you take 6.
Okay. Not a melee attack.
Fire-based if it matters to either of you.
Nope. Out of temporary hit points.
Zavir.
Zavir reaches out his hand toward the Dragonborn for no effect. 12.
Okay. 12 to hit.
Yeah.
It's a miss.
This little pale bolt just shatters over his scales.
Oh.
And he starts to make his way back down the stairs.
Okay.
Just a point of order regarding concentration. If it's in the duration entry, it's concentration. The spell specifies how long you can concentrate on it. You can end concentration at any time, no action required.
There we go.
Thank you, Dan.
Darrell backs out of this fight. I'll say you can all take attacks of opportunity against him.
Savarkeen holds up a hand.
Oh yeah, a hand. I was gonna say a hand or a claw. No, a hand.
She looks at the men around her. This fight is over. Enough blood has been spilled. She looks at Darrell.
Salivar's eyes narrow at you, then looks at the darkness rolling through the doors.
Darrell steps back and he says, "Tabor, we can't fight that." The Dragonborn is clearly on the edge of raging. I mean, he's not a barbarian, but he's angry. And you see him. You're not sure if he's going to stop. What are you guys doing? When
I'm following my priestess.
okay,
But my sword is raised, but I'm not moving it.
I guess the only real question: do you follow her instruction and let him withdraw?
Yeah, I step back.
Okay.
I flash eyes at you to do the same.
No one's taking the attack of opportunity?
Nope.
All right, so he backs up. And then after he backs up, he very quickly puts that rapier away and starts playing something on his harp.
He's running away.
Josh, give me a knowledge arcana.
11.
Okay. Matt, you can roll as well.
Ooh,
12.
Okay.
damn it.
It's an enchantment. That's all you guys know.
Darrell, there is another way out. Deeper. Come with us. Escape the hollow.
Deeper. Whose turn is it? Who just went? Who went before?
I had attacked the Dragonborn.
Okay. It's quick, so he doesn't have a chance to respond. You don't see any effect. None of you feel any effect from his playing of the instrument. He's looking past all of you at the darkness that's creeping onto the stairs now. Zavir, what do you do?
He's looking. Salivar's looking at the three of you. We have to run.
How do my companions look? You guys, how banged up are you? Like, I'm assessing the battlefield.
Salivar is breathing heavy, but doesn't look injured.
Jaden looks a little. He's got a little cut.
Savarkeen looks healthy. She might have a bruise on her side. You can't see it.
You also see Jaden. There's blood in his eyes. That Dragonborn just burned the shit out of him, and he wants its blood.
Zavir.
Salavar staring at the darkness, and he's starting to take a few steps back now.
Zavir says, "Do you want to scrape up your companion and run? I'm going to, I don't know, if intimidation or deception. I want to continue the fight. I think I look at my companions, they look strong. I look at the enemy, they look weak.
It's probably persuasion. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to do, if that's, yeah. I mean, or you can just attack. It's up to you.
Yeah, no, Zavir doesn't want to put himself out there.
Okay.
He wants to see.
You want others to put themselves out
yes.
there.
Probably pretty good.
So 15.
Who are you sort of directing these comments at? Just all of them, or
Both sides.
both sides?
I
Okay.
want to
Big both
anger.
sides guy.
I want to anger both sides to continue fighting.
You Russia?
15. You said.
Yeah.
All right. You realize now what Darrell is doing. He's fascinating Tabor. He's trying to calm him down. And your comments seem to anger him further. So now it's sort of a battle of, he's trying to like de-escalate the situation and literally move out of the fight and run away. And
Perfect.
you're trying to and you're egging him on. You're egging him on. So basically, he was going to make Tabor withdraw, but now he won't.
Okay.
Not this turn, at least. So you've succeeded in making sure that the Dragonborn attacks your party. You already did.
Can I take an action as well? That was my action.
I'd say that's an action.
Yep,
You can take
okay.
a move.
He continues to move a little bit downstairs.
Next is the gnome, and then Savarkeen.
How close is Zavir to Savarkeen?
15 feet.
She strides over to him
Okay.
and strikes him.
Classic drow move.
Do you have a snake headed whip? And they make you
Not
one
yet. No, they don't give those to acolytes.
No, here's what she does. As she walks, I'm going to cast Shillelagh as a bonus action.
Shillelagh.
And that scepter that she has, you hear it, you hear bones crack as she,
Just to be clear,
Yes.
the darkness is coming
Yeah.
from the stairs. So, your Zavir was the closest one to it because you were on the steps.
Moving away
You
from that,
moved
sure.
away from it. But yeah, you're moving towards him, but you see it. It's behind him. It's coming towards both of you.
Her eyes
I mean,
are
it's
wide.
not going to hit you this turn, but, it's a moving threat.
First to hit you. And
her eyes are wide as she looks at you, and she has that scepter. It looks like a spine of a gnome. And she
It's not
flicks it,
Looks
antagonizing.
like it.
and the spine, the what are they called? The vertebrae separate in this whip. And she comes and she slaps you a backhand with her left hand and says, "It is done, Zavir."
I would say I take a penalty to my armor class because I'm not that much resisting it.
Yeah. Roll to hit.
I mean, kind of ducking away.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 instead of 17.
I got a 15.
Okay.
With if I could use dexterity to slap.
It's a slap,
I slap him.
so it's strength +1.
Oh, okay. Well, my strength is -1, so it's 13.
No, I know. I mean
Oh,
damage. is
damage?
strength.
Yeah.
So 1.
0 damage.
Can you do 0?
I don't know.
No, I think you do 1.
I'm 1 damage.
Yeah. But I think unarmed is just strength +1, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. He bitch slaps you.
Okay.
1 whole damage, but the message is definitely received.
She turns and starts walking away towards the door, using the rest of her movement.
Salavar kind of creeps in a half circle between him and Zavir and Savarkeen, and he nods to Jidden to kind of follow as we all kind of contract and move away from
Okay.
the staircase.
Sigra the monk, she looks towards Darrell, who's withdrawing. She sees Tiber, who might end up just staying and fighting, and she withdraws. She uses an action to withdraw. but she moves fucking quick. So she kind of rolls out of that scrum and then like leaps, grabs the balcony and like, no, she wouldn't want to go up there, and makes her way to the door that leads to that hallway. Like, so not the front door, but the hallway that you guys came out of. And she is in a second at that door. So now Darrell's sort of in the middle. She's at the door. Tiber is still in the middle. It looks like he still intends on fighting. Matt, you're up.
God damn it. Jidin.
So you're still, you guys are still squared off with this Dragonborn. Her action, if you hadn't done that, her action was going to be to use that momentum ability and try to throw the fucking wizard into the shadow.
Gross.
It's the second time I saved the wizard's life.
So I just watched Severe get pimp slapped. I think Jinin will take that as the sign to disengage. He'll stow his rapier and back away from the Dragonborn. Bonus action, disengage, just in case he tries to take a swing.
Okay.
But he will slip into the darkness, making his way towards the stairwell. Not very well. It's 12 stealth.
Okay. I think that is Darrell after Matt. That's what I did last turn. Josh. Well,
I just got bitch slapped.
he keeps moving towards the door, and you can all tell he's still playing those notes on that harp. And you can tell he's casting a spell. It's some sort of command spell. Let's see if it works. It does. You see Tabor, the Dragonborn, lower that maul. He's still holding it in both hands, but he kind of lowers it as he's lulled, much like the Hulk, by this music.
Sun's getting low.
He's defenseless if anyone wants to attack him. And Darrell actually goes through the doorway. Unless anyone's attacking, we can stop initiative now. I mean, unless you guys want to fight the darkness.
Nope,
well.
hard pass.
I'm really tempted to let a crossbow bolt go into the Dragonborn's skull from behind.
Nice plus one
Sigra
maul.
and Darrell,
So
the monk
bad.
and the bard, they don't wait around very long to see if Tiber follows. They're through that fucking door and down that hallway that you guys came out of. Tiber kind of is backing up towards the door, but you can tell he doesn't want to. He's not being magically enchanted, but he is slowly kind of withdrawing and just watching all of you as he does so.
As he's slow to withdraw, I watch as the darkness kind of begins crawling up over the balustrade, and I know that it's only a matter of moments. If he doesn't leave, the darkness will have him.
He's saying something in a language none of you understand.
Zavir wipes a hand across his nose, drawing some blood from where the priestess slapped him,
You lick it, don't
and
you?
says, "Back in there, there's no escape from there. Where are we going?"
Out the front door. They said it led to the Underdark.
And Zavir shakes his
door
head.
closes as the Dragonborn goes through it.
It is done.
You see Jidin lower his crossbow.
With now much more urgency, Savarkeen makes her way to the front door.
As we get to the door, do we see the same runes in it?
You do.
Those ones that we saw in the
Yep.
chamber?
Yep.
Silavar shoulders one of the large doors and starts slowly walking and pushing it open.
You push open these huge oak doors of this home, and on the other side, you see a cavernous tunnel stretching into the Underdark. Nice marble steps that kind of come down to the end of a drive and then suddenly end and turn into rough stone. It's clear from the outside of this estate that this entire building was magically moved into the darkness.
That's intense. That's a lot of magic.
And you run. It stops at the door, and the doors slam shut. You guys make your way into the Underdark with no food, no supplies.
Perfect.
A little wounded.
No one to eat.
And we'll, no one to eat. Should have brought that dragon.
Those guys are going to be pissed at me for killing the gnome. You understand that, right?
Fucking splattering the gnome. Thank you for listening to A Tangled Web. Please, if you have time, tell a friend, write us a review, or, just go out and shout it on the rooftops. Check out all of our different social media platforms. You can go to our website and find links at the bottom. There's probably also links on whatever you're listening to right now. That's nastygramrpg.com, and definitely check out the socials because I tend to put little things on there to help with NPCs and visual aids and whatnot. Our intro music was by A Wilhelm Scream. Theme song is Oath by Adrian von Ziegler. All scores by Adrian von Ziegler and Antti Martikainen. Thanks for listening.
That's nasty.